All right, Lab Coat agents, we've got Dean Aguilar with us, and today he's going to show us how to absolutely blow up your social media, specifically Instagram. Some of the stuff that I've seen him do with some agents, it's just been amazing. Dean, it's about freaking time you join us on Lab Coat Agents, man. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. I appreciate you, man. We were just talking off camera here, and Tristan and I have shared quite a few conversations, but never face to face. So this is pretty awesome, and I appreciate you having me on here.
Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. All right, man. So let's get right into it.
Yeah,
Dean,
let's dive in.
first, I want to understand why you decided to do this. You've got Digital Muse, right? That's the name of the company.
Yep.
And with it, you help agents in general with their social media presence. But what was the idea behind it first?
Yeah, so honestly, it started many years ago with me shooting video. So I've been shooting video for 9 years, really. And it was on like a flip phone. I'm pretty sure. I mean, you should have seen the quality of this thing. It was awful.
Is that even possible?
I don't know. It was like one of the first phones ever. But, like as social media grew, Facebook grew and stuff like that, I was blessed to be kind of an early adopter with that stuff and posting it. And that's essentially how I built the brand. And so I noticed that, over time, Instagram started becoming very popular, and I started focusing my energy on that. And I also started to seeing, especially in the real estate field, because, for those who don't know, I own a real estate team and an independent brokerage as well. So I saw a lot of mistakes that were happening, in our industry as far as posting and stuff like that. So I decided to take it upon myself to create the agency and share my best practices. And and it started 2 years ago. So really over the last 18 months actually is when it started to kind of grow, and we started picking up, some clients there. And now it's just completely snowballed to where we are right now. We actually, it's funny because we have a little just north, I think we have 27 clients now that are, that pay monthly and all that stuff and for our programs. But about only 10 are agents. We have anywhere from NFL players to actors that are actually clients of ours right now. So
Wow.
So I've got them across the board. And everything is different regarding content and their messaging. But obviously for me, I can help agents so well because I know the business. I've been licensed for 19 years now, actually. It's going on 19 years. So 2001 is when I first got my license.
2001. Nice, dude. Just a couple of years before me. So that's super sweet.
Yeah, I had a team in two coasts. Like before the bust, I had a team in Washington D.C. area.
Wow.
And then the bust happened, and I decided I needed a break before I cried myself to sleep. And so I went to Southern California to be as close to water as possible.
Well, that's a nice place to cry yourself to sleep while you're working at the ocean.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so that's kind of how it came about. It started snowballing, and with that came a lot of, an incredible amount. It's funny because while I was building the business, the most important part to me was developing the relationships in the space. So like people directly who work for Instagram, high-level mastermind groups, getting certified. Like we partnered, obviously with Roland and Ryan over at Digital Marketer and stuff like that. Yeah. So my entire team. I have 6 certifications now. My entire team are all certified, so we spent a lot of time in the industry over the last 2 years to kind of get to where we are right now.
I love that, dude. I love that. Thank you. And so before we start going into it, I want to just make everybody aware that we do have a link. So this PDF that you provided for us, it's a digital playbook. Mm-hmm. And for the people that are on the webinar, we did place it into the chat. And for those joining us on Facebook Live, it's in the post at the very top. So you can click there and download. And then Dean has given this to us so we can take a look at what he's doing. All right, Dean. So let's get right into it, man. I want to become a freaking Instagram celebrity.
Yes, sir.
What are the steps?
Okay, first step, very simple. Some of the stuff you may have heard before, but I gotta reinforce it. When you bring on a team member, so I try to relate it to real estate as much as possible, right? You bring on a team member, you're trying to see if it's a good culture fit. A lot of times, like what we do is we want to find out their why, right? We want to find out their why. We want to find out a little bit about them. The biggest thing that you can do for yourself is you have to define like who you are and what makes you different. And I can't make this more clear enough for everyone on the call. It is not you selling homes. Okay, that's not what makes you different. Okay, that's what makes you the same as every other agent. Okay, so I think it's one of those things that, and for anybody that's a team member or have employees or anything like that, it's kind of a difficult thing because you sit across. So like, Tristan, you're coming aboard, and I was like, tell me your why. And there's like a moment of silence because they got.
Well, don't you always get? I love helping people.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a generic stuff, right? Yeah, and that's cool. It's cool, but it's not deep, right?
That's not your why.
No, it's not. Listen, I'm going to share something super personal. I really don't share except for my team, but I need to share it because hopefully this gives some context of how deep you need to go. Okay. In my lifetime, I have been with a single mom, homeless, for 3 months. We were slapped in a station wagon in New York City when my parents broke up for 3 straight months, eating Slim Jims and Skittles for dinner. Okay, that was my life. Number of health problems. I have 1 lung. I have replaced hip, replaced shoulder, 4 fused discs in my neck. And the reason why I'm telling you all this is because, that's a part of me. And that is actually a part of stuff that I share with my audience and my message, right? Because you guys have to understand that the reason why people follow you isn't because you posted a damn coming soon. No one gives a shit about that. Like, no. They legit don't care. Okay. It's like, that's kind of like for anybody that's posting so consistently, coming soon, just listed, sold in 5 days, over asking price. It's the same shit. All of you know, because you have realtors on your stuff. That's not what your clients want to see. Your friends want to see. Potential clients want to see. They don't want to see that. It's
not even like, your mom wants to see that.
No one wants to see it. And it's the same thing over and over, right? It's the same thing over and over on everybody's feed. And I think one of the things that you have to realize is, just like an online lead, again, I'll try to reference it to the agents. You're not entering a conversation, pitching or asking, hey, are you qualified by a lender? And that, like, literally, that's the first thing that you're doing, right? You're trying to build rapport instantaneously within the first 5 seconds. And the only way they're going to do that is they have to connect with you, period, end of story. Okay. So the answer to your question, and sorry that was long-winded, I could probably talk about this stuff for like two hours, is you have to define what your message is going to be, who you are as a person, and be okay of being super vulnerable with your audience. Otherwise, you're going to look like everyone else.
Well, I think what I'm hearing is, just to simplify it for the audience, because they're like, well, what does that mean, my why? I think if you approach it with your mindset, you start creating relationships offline and through social media, because that's what we're doing. I want people to be able to create a relationship saying, look, I'm providing you with this type of value online, and you are giving me your attention. And for that, I'm being rewarded, you're being rewarded, and it's a relationship that we're starting. And there's no way to start a relationship if it's just, hey, look what I can do, look what I can do, look what I can do, look what I can do. Who the hell cares?
No one cares. But that's an excellent point, and I appreciate that. So that's kind of where it starts off. When you're creating like your profiles and stuff like that on Instagram, I would say that the next thing is, you have to understand that your profile, again, just like, making an impact right away with a lead, right? Mm-hmm. That's it's your resume. So your profile needs to be like just clean, right? So it needs to start off, first of all, you need to have a business profile. So if you're, what I would recommend to every single person, because I get this question quite a bit with everyone, it doesn't matter what industry you're in.
Should I share my Instagram profile so we can take a look at it?
Actually, you know what, if you can share mine, because mine has and then we can flip back and forth.
Perfect. Yours is Dean Aguilar, right?
No, it's at Real Dean Aguilar.
Real Dean. Oh, because I was about to go to the fake Dean Aguilar. Sorry.
Dude, that's the reason why I had to put real. To be honest with you, I've had a number of fake accounts on there.
I'm joking with you. Hold on, let me give me a second. It's updating it. Perfect. Okay. Let me just go off of this. While I'm going, just talk on the profile and tell us what we need to do on the profile.
So essentially what you need to do, number one, what I recommend to everyone, like I said, is you are the brand. So Tristan is the brand, right? Not Tristan Real Estate Group, all right? Or Remax or whatever, right? That's not it. It's you, because, you know, ultimately people are connecting with you, and should you want to do anything outside of real estate or promote, it could be anything, right? It could be donations, it could be whatever it is. Your brand goes with you everywhere, right? And so that's what you need to do first. And then the second thing is make sure that you have a business profile. Flip it. If you have a personal profile right now, you can flip it into a business profile. So that way it gives you the analytics of you know, everything as far as your insights of who's following you, how many people, what their age group is, and all that stuff.
All right, Dean, I've got you up here, just so you know.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I see it. Okay, perfect. All right, so let me share a couple things with you guys that, and some of them is a little pro tip, right? So if you notice there, once you flip it to a business account, right, it'll allow you to do a few other things. And when you see my name there, right, once you flip it to it, you'll notice that I have a break with an icon, and then it has brand agency next to it. Okay, most people just leave, most people just leave their name, which is totally fine. And I've tested quite a few different things with this. I've had digital agency, I've had real estate, I've had entrepreneur, I've had a lot of things. You have to understand that your profile is SEO. It's searchable. Okay.
Yep.
And that line right there, if someone is searching, as an example, Tristan, OC real estate next to Tristan, there's a very good chance that your profile is going to be one of the top ones.
Got it.
Okay.
Very big. I love that.
Yeah. And just keep in mind, so just real quick, guys, it's character sensitive. So you're going to have to play around. I'm not quite sure how many words it will allow you to put on that line, but get creative. Instead of real estate, put realtor, whatever, right? Just get creative with it, but have it be as make sense to you. Right underneath it, underneath the business profile, pick a niche. For most of you, it's all going to say real estate. Totally fine there. I own quite a few businesses, as do you, Tristan. So, you know, you can put public figure, you can put entrepreneur. It depends on what you want to do, right? So that's underneath. Yep, underneath your name there.
Entrepreneur, got it.
Yep, and then the bio. Let's talk about that for a second. And this is one thing I recommend to everybody. There's a lot of ballers in this group, right? And even if, you know, you're just starting off, there's a good chance that you have some kind of like accolade, right? You have some kind of press behind you. Tristan, I know you've been in a number of publications, okay? And so you need to highlight them. Like for me, my biggest, you know, accolade is going to be Forbes and BuzzFeed and stuff like that, right? And so I have that located on the top. So that way, that's the immediate thing that people are drawn into. They see, they're like, okay, wow, okay, so this guy's got a little something going on. That's cool, right? And then underneath it, it's you know, it's like how you're helping someone. So I help people in OC, you know, find their dream home, whatever, right? You just play around with a little bit of something. So accolade, what you do for a living. For me, it's, you know, celebrity advisor on brand growth, right, with our clientele, serial entrepreneur, and then your title. So CEO of, you know, lab coats, totally good, whatever. And then your call to action. Very big here on the call to action. Don't be scared to flip your call to action to whatever you have going on at the time. Your website is cool, right? Because it'll drive them to your website. But if you're pitching, I'll just use you as an example. So let's say, you know, obviously, let's say Lab Coast Live comes to San Diego and you have an early bird special on whatever, you're going to flip that off of your Tristan thing real fast to that link, right? Because in your stories, that is where you're going to be pitching that. And so don't be scared to kind of flip that link into different things. It could be a landing page. I mean, you guys know all about funnels and landing page, so I don't need to school you on that, but like, you know, that's kind of what you need to do, right?
Got it. So what you're saying with that link, it's okay to change it often, right? So if you have something new going on this week, change it to that.
For sure. So like on Sharon's, for instance, we just recently changed it to 7 micro culture. There you go. All right. So, you know, he's giving away, you know, kind of a white sheet, you know, on 7 microcultures, right? But before there was,
Got it.
he had launched an inner circle, kind of a
Yep.
mastermind group, right? And so we had that as his call to
Oh.
action, right? And so,
Mhm.
that's kind of where we flipped it to. And when we did
Dude,
that,
I like that. You responsible for him changing up his profile because it wasn't like that before.
yeah. And so
I'm
that's an
liking
interesting.
the Sharon is the king of scale. I love that.
Yeah, and Bedros is one of our pals, right? And so Bedros has got an amazing following, 500,000 followers. Owns multiple business, excellent speaker, all that stuff, right? And so we took that
So I'm
quote.
noticing that all of these people have. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
just so agents can see it, I'm seeing that everybody that I've clicked on has a link up there, right? So for you as an agent who's following, if you have a new listing, right, you can put a link to it every time you get a new listing. Put a link there to it and say, hey, refer back to it if that's what you're referring back to, right?
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
don't make it super spammy.
No, not at all. I mean, people like, they like new things, right? So like if you have a coming soon, maybe with a countdown timer or something like that, for those of you who are part of Kingston Lane, that type of stuff is awesome, because you're building anticipation and stuff like that. I flip it back and forth to different things as well, but that's what I would recommend there. And then, after you're getting off the profile, then, we can certainly talk about like the next thing, which is your content and what you're posting.
Well, I'd like to show people that's mine, but I want to show them one specific thing. On the top right, you see the sandwich bar. I call it a sandwich bar.
Yep.
You click on it, and here's where you're able to see all of your activity, all of everything there. But more importantly, here is where you're able to change out your account, right, under the settings button and then account, to switch it between personal, creator, and business. You see at the very bottom here, and you can switch as often as you want. That's what Dean was referring to before.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. So, and what do you recommend, Dean? I've always recommended having a business one or a creator one.
Yeah, business one. Yep, absolutely.
All right, perfect, man. I love that. So let's go back to yours here. What are the next steps here?
Yeah, so it's okay. So there is no perfect way to post. Okay, again, it's very it's just like anything else. You talk about a lot in lab coats about testing, right? Testing different things when it comes to leads and ads and all that stuff. Your platform is very much the same. So when I started mine again, I tested a lot of infographics and stuff like that. With Sharon, we can use him because everybody knows him, right? So it's an easy thing. He had such a large email list. I think it was like close to 100,000 people on that email list. It was ridiculous. People gosh. Yeah, it's super, super retarded. Anyway, but those people are used to, getting his information in written form. Okay. So oddly enough, when we scrapped his account in the beginning and relaunched it, we tested a lot of things, and we tested all his speaking engagements and all this stuff in his videos, and his infographics in written forms were performing better than his videos, which is the exact opposite of mine.
Really?
My videos, yeah. So I guess where I'm going with it is you have to test different styles of pieces in order for you to understand what your audience is, wanting from you. And the other thing that you have to understand is not everyone communicates the same way. And so they're not going to take the information the same way. And so that's why it's always good to kind of switch off different pieces, in your feed. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense, dude. So then let's say we've got the profile like you explained it. We put links. We then test between the infographics that you've created versus some video, and we find that infographics for us are working better, or pictures. How do we go from, let's say, 200 followers to over 1,000, right? How do we do that? Because I saw you do that with that real estate lady. She did great. She posted it on her feed, and I was like, dude, we've got to do that. What was her name?
Robin Burdett?
Yes.
Yeah, Robin Burdett. We're actually working with Justin Haver. I don't know if you know who he is.
I know Justin. Yep.
Big baller. So we just started his account last month. we will probably grow his account to 10,000 followers in 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And Robin's on a little bit of a slower growth. So, and there's a number of different things that we offer, right? So it just really depends on money. And so, it just depends on what you want to do. But ideally, the best way to do it is you want to make sure that you're speaking not only to a real estate audience, but also to a wider audience for making sure that you connect with those folks.
Okay.
Making sure that your captions on your post are a tad bit longer. Obviously Instagram does favor longer captions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You also want to test different hashtags that are also a little bit broader, but have a combination. So I was like using like a 10-10-5 rule if you're doing 25 hashtags, and just 5 could be pretty random and generic. 10 could be a little bit more business associated niche. And then 10 is super local, niche down to Beverly Hills or whatever.
Perfect. Yeah, makes total sense.
Okay. Where you're going to grow organically is really not your feed. Okay. It is going to be your stories.
Oh, really?
Yes. I don't know who watches their analytics. Okay. But obviously, since I own the company, I watch it quite frequently on everybody's feed. And what's interesting is one could argue that the organic reach is quickly dying on Instagram, just like it did on Facebook. Yep. While I told you captions and hashtags are great, to be honest with you, it's only going to produce a few followers, if that, right, per month. Where you do get a lot of followers when you're geotagging in your stories. And what I mean by that is you get to select the location that you're at, whether it be hyper local, at a coffee shop, at a Starbucks, whatever it is in your area, whatever you're visiting, tag those locations, because people in those areas are going to see your stories and you'll be able to see. I'm
doing a story, dude. I'm doing a story.
We're good. We're talking good. They'll be able to see your content, right? Because you're in that geographic area. And also, Instagram will allow you to do only up to 10 hashtags in your stories, not 30.
Ah, okay.
So for those of you who are doing 30, you're wasting 20. So just do 10. And there's a lot of ways that you can minimize those 10, stories. I do anywhere from 1 to 3. But I do get a number of organic views. And the way that you'll be able to tell is based off your hashtags and your geotags and your insights, you'll be able to see how many people are actually viewing your stuff that are not your followers.
Ah, I like that, dude.
Yes, I like that too. So okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So I have a question here. A lot of people here don't realize that the analytics portion of this is really important. And again, you go to the top corner, the little sandwich bar, and you're able to see those analytics and then see what's going on, right?
Just under insights.
Perfect. Man.
Yep. And when you're in your stories, guys, your analytics are directly in your stories. So all you got to do is swipe up. So as soon as you're in your stories, and let's say you have 15 different stories, you'll see the frames on each one. Simply swipe up. And you'll see who watched your stories. This is really cool. Actually, you know what? Let's tie it into leads. So this is really cool when you're trying to get a hold of someone and you notice that every fucking time you post something, they're watching your stories. I would DM the hell out of those folks. You know what I mean? Because you get to stalk every single person that's actually watching your stuff, and so you'll be able to see from there how many people that you've actually pulled in, because in your insights, it'll actually say people not following you. Like, it'll say like towards the bottom or something like that. It'll say, how many people viewed your stories that weren't following you, if any of them actually, how many visited your profile that weren't following you, and then how many followed you based on that action of your story, if that makes sense.
I love that. All right. So then help us understand what we should be doing on stories on a consistent basis as real estate agents so that we can actually do it. Because what I found is that here's the biggest concern most agents have is, well, what do I post, or what do I do? And when it becomes clear, then they start doing it a lot more. So help us.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And so if you don't mind, I'll start a little bit with a post and transition into how, okay. So like on your feed, guys, here's what I recommend to every single person. Number one, I told you this story about myself. Be a little vulnerable, okay? And share a little bit of personal stuff along with different pieces of content. So try anything. Again, I said this earlier, please, whatever you do, do not make your feed only about pictures of houses, okay? No one wants to see that. That's not what connects with other people. And I want to drive this home. And the way that I'm going to do that is, Tristan, on your feed, okay? I don't know if you know this, but one of your two biggest posts out of your 9 posts was not a picture of a luxury home. It was 2 quotes from Coco Chanel.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so I want to repeat that. On Tristan's feed, it wasn't a picture of a house. It was 2 posts of a quote from Coco Chanel. Understand that your audience is going to engage, and they get very sick and tired of seeing a picture of a house. Okay, so here's why what we do is important, because we have to test different pieces. It can be a quote card. You've been on a podcast like this or something like that. Strip the audio, do an audiogram, do video, do something spontaneous with you and your kids, and write a long caption of some learning, thing that you learn by being with your kids. Tristan, you do a great job with that stuff. So that's what I would recommend. On your feed too, one more thing that I want to kind of separate the feed and the story is your feed should only be about giving value. Okay? So your feed should be only about giving value. So, maybe you're at an open house and you're giving some kind of scenario that happened at an open house or home inspection or whatever the case may be. You're giving some tips, all that stuff. That is where you're going to post that stuff, okay, along with all the other content, all right? So your feed is giving value. All of your selling is going to be stories.
Got it.
Let me repeat that. All of your selling is going to be stories. And let me tell you why. You have to view your stories as an opt-in. It is the hottest lead that you're going to get. I literally have to go on Tristan's fucking post or face, and I got to click his head. I got to literally click his face and say, let me find out about Tristan's life. Okay, that is the warmest lead you're ever going to get, because you may or may not get people randomly looking at your feed, but those people have selected to find out about you. All right.
Yeah, so that's very true, man.
You see what I'm saying? And so that is where you do your pitch and your selling. And when I say pitch, let me be very clear on how a pitch should go. You have to enter the conversation in the minds of the client. Okay. And so what I mean by that is, do not go straight into selling. All right. So let me just try to pull something out. You're doing a story, right? And you're trying to pitch a listing or something like that, and you have a great story about it. And maybe you're going for first-time home buyers, because this house is perfect for first-time home buyers. And you start your story off. Look, have you ever been in a situation? You have the phone. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought you actually couldn't afford a house? Maybe you thought your credit wasn't right. Maybe you thought you couldn't afford, a down payment on a house. Let me tell you a little story about these clients that have this house, right? So what you've done now is you've entered the conversation on a pain point, right? And your audience is going to go, oh shit, he's speaking to me. And now you're going into a story about a client of a house that you have. And people always, this, I know, Tristan, you know this, people relate to stories. They will understand stories, right? And that is why I give my story as frequently as I humanly can, right? Because people can understand the story and connect to it. Then you tell the story, and then you lead into the pitch. Okay, and for those of you who have 10,000 followers, that could be a swipe up, because for those of you who don't know, when you have 10,000 followers, Instagram rewards you with a swipe up feature that allows you to have, basically a landing page or a funnel to send them to, right? So again, start the conversation off with a pain point in the conversation, in the client's mind, story, pitch, right? And that is going to be the hottest lead that you can get.
I love that. All right. Just so that people, I'm going to reiterate it so people understand.
Please do.
when you're selling, you go to your stories. And if you don't know how to do a story, it's pretty easy. When you're on the feed itself, you just swipe to the right, right? You swipe to the right, and then all of a sudden the camera turns around and you just click so it turns to you, and then you sell. You know, whether it's like Dean said, an opportunity for people to understand what you're doing and how you can help them off of a situation, a story, right? Or show them what you're doing on a daily basis, like you're out with clients, you're out working, you're taking them through your day so they see that you're actually working, right? That's the story. And then for the feed, to reiterate what Dean said, was the feed should only be about giving value. And for the feed, Dean, what does that look like for an agent? What does value look like specifically?
Yeah. So look, a lot of times, and I'm not saying, guys, look, I'm not saying don't post pictures of a house, okay? Because you certainly can do that. All I'm saying is don't make all 7 posts every week, all week, a picture of a house, right? And so, I mean, I'm just saying, we all know, right? Because we all have agents on our thing and they all look the same. Every Instagram page looks the same. What I'm saying about giving value is if you're going to promote, and Tristan, you can relate, and all the agents on here can relate. You know, somewhere down the line, a coach said, grab a phone and get on video and do an open house, right? And promote the open house. Well, what about entering the conversation in the client's mind of a little story about your client's house that you're holding open? That is a much different approach, okay? Everyone, all of you have sat in a listing presentation and learned, hopefully, about your client and their story. And there's nothing wrong with telling a story behind that house and that open house. But no, what we usually do is we go and we try to pitch the house and we're come see me, right? And that's not value. That has nothing to do.
There's no story behind it. I think what Dean's really was saying is what you all know already, and that's we've been told stories since we were kids, right? We watch cartoons, then we watch movies, and it's all, look at Star Wars, dude. Friday. Oh my God. I cannot wait.
We got a client appreciation. We run out of theater. I'm so stoked.
I can't wait for the rise of Skywalker, but that's the story. So you're sitting inside of a home, let's say it's a husband and a wife, why they moved there. Then you start the whole conversation differently. You're sitting at home. Hey, everyone, I'm sitting at this home, and let me tell you why my clients here purchased this home 7 years ago. And they first fell in love with it because of this and this and that. Now they're selling because of this. You're telling a story, and you're trying to grab people's attention that way. It's a 100%. Whole different ballgame.
Imagine that you're at a house, and you have some amazing listings, Tristan, right? But for those who are either stepping up and upgrading a home or whatever, right? And you're trying to pitch that house, for instance, and you're on your feed. Imagine telling a story about like Thanksgiving dinner, right? Because it's got an amazing kitchen, right? Yeah. And you're like, have you ever been in a situation where you have a house and you want to find a new house, but like you had Thanksgiving at your current house and, you have 15 people in the kitchen cooking up a storm and they're like bumping into each other and then grandma drops the turkey and this, that. All right, come with me. I want to show you the most amazing kitchen. And you're going straight to the kitchen, right? Because you're paying. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the selling point of the house, right? This is a much different way to have a conversation with your audience than just doing the standard stuff that we all see, right? So what I mean by giving value is you can highlight the stuff, but make sure you touch the audience in the way that they want to be touched, which is relatable, right? The other thing that I can tell you is, besides the value piece, is be vulnerable. Give a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your stories and lessons learned, right? Both in the real estate field. I think a lot of people are getting worried about, like, they want it to be so perfect. Like, look at me, I've sold this and sold that. But what about the deals that fucking fall apart?
Yeah, that's very true, man. I think.
Right? Like, what about those? Like, why wouldn't you share that with a potential client? And not that it was your fault. What I mean is, here's what happened and here's how to avoid it.
Yeah. And more importantly, like, just showing that you're real, right? So you're going through, let's say you just lost a client because of something. Like, for example, we lost a client where the agent is Malibu. I get a referral for 10 million, all cash, right? From another agent in the same brokerage. Outside of the area, sent it to me. We're showing property, and all of a sudden they find a property they really love. We come in at an offer at $7.5 million, and then that same day, that same agent decides to have his own client come in at 675, not knowing. He double ends it. They don't accept our offer, which was 750,000 higher.
Oh Lord.
I lose my client. My client goes to a different agent because of that. And then I'm like, you know what? Let me tell this story on social.
Yes.
So I told it. In a day, we had 10,000 views on that video, right? Because
totally relatable.
And it happens to all of us, right?
All of us. Yep.
I think, dude, you hit it right on. Sometimes I even forget, man, because I'm so caught up with the whole routine of, hey, I just got a listing, and yeah.
Right, social proof. It's we're trained for social proof because we want it to be, look at me, right? And I understand that, but that's not what the clients want to see, and that's not what's going to engage. People are going to work with you because they have to understand you. They need to know that you're, a human, right? And everything is not perfect. This is obviously not a perfect business for sure. So share those vulnerabilities as much as you humanly can. There's nothing wrong with that. And, for me, it's worked well. So obviously my agents, right, on my real estate team benefit from me having, the agency. And that's exactly the way that I've just described it is exactly how I have them approach their Instagrams. And because of what I do, and I can go into a little bit about how we grow, those folks' Instagrams and stuff like that through like influencer marketing. But we closed, and I've said this before, we've closed 22 deals this year off of just Instagram, not social media, Instagram.
Wow.
One plain thing. And here's the crazy thing about that.
Did you say 22?
22 deals. Instagram, not Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, not just one platform. Okay.
That's crazy.
Well, obviously they have a little bit of benefits of having me and the agency and some scripting and all that stuff. But look, it works, right? But what's interesting is, okay, you're gonna get a kick out of this. 6 of them were not in San Diego.
Wow.
Okay, so 4 were military, who they happen to get these people as followers, posted consistently, were deploying to San Diego, and it all starts the same way. Hey, I've been watching your stuff for a while. Always.
That's exactly how it happens. You're right.
Always. I've been watching your stuff for a while. That's it, right? That's so the most amazing part, right? Is you never know who's watching, number one. It's very, very hard. I tell everybody it's very, very hard. Branding and what we do is sometimes difficult to explain to agents, right? Because we're in a field where, like, give me leads. How is this going to turn into a deal tomorrow? It's not. Nope. This is a brand play. This is something you got to do forever. And when you have the audience, it eventually will, right? But it works. I know it works because I have proof that it does.
Well, yeah, man, I've seen it work. So, all right. So you've talked about the stories on Instagram. You talked about the feed. You talked about giving value, telling stories in that content. Now tell us how you help agents grow from, like, for example, Robin, you mentioned Robin. Yeah. How you grow hers from a few hundred to now over 2,000?
I think it is over 3 now.
Over 3. So give us a little bit of that secret sauce besides going to you at Digital Muse and signing up, right? Because now I have to go sign up after this. So.
Well, yeah. Okay. This is definitely not a pitch, guys, but whether it's me or someone else, here's the thing that you have to understand is, and this is something where it would cost. So the secret sauce is this. We all know that Instagram, for anybody that's going to tell you that you're going to get thousands and thousands of followers without paying for it is wrong. I'm sorry. You're just not, the algorithm and the organic reach is not going to get you 10,000 followers in a month. It's just not. There's no way. You're not going to get something that's going to go viral and make that happen. Okay. Influencer marketing was an $8 billion business last year. And it's going to be a $20 billion business in 2020. Companies like Estee Lauder are allotting 75% of all of their marketing dollars to influencer marketing online. So that's big. All right.
That's massive, dude. That's massive. And
so the secret sauce is, if you can pair yourself up with an influencer in a business space or any space really that has a good US based following, or a celebrity that can do that, right? And again, I'd rather not pitch, but like essentially what we do in our secret sauce is early on while I was building this relationship and starting this business about 18 months ago, is when I took Sharon as a client, and ultimately he became an investor because he understood what we were doing, is I purchased or co-purchased, right? So I co-own 6 different pages that are business theme related pages that have 4.5 million followers across those pages. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The engagement rate. So these are kind of theme, meme type business. To be honest with you, a lot of you guys secretly don't even know that you share my content from those pages because they're viral pages, right? So they're those shareable infographics, quote cards, and stuff like that, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. And so reason why that works is because we use those pages when we're growing slow. So like in the case of like Robin and Justin, actually, we use those pages to drive business related content and audience that are US based as shout outs to go check out. So, hey, for amazing content on the OC real estate market, go check out Tristan, right? Something like that, right? And so what we do, what's different than most, because all of us get spammed in our DMs of selling followers and all this crap. Okay.
Dean, what's Robin's last name?
Burdette.
I'm going to show everybody. So as you're talking, it's Burdette.
Robin, we're using you if you ever see this.
Burdette. Okay, hold on.
Burdett. Yeah.
Robin. And how do you spell Robin? Because I'm not. It's not.
It's Robyn.
ROB. Got it. I messed that up.
That's all right.
Robin. Okay, got it. Let me share this so people can see what you've done, because that's honestly that's what caught my attention, dude.
Yeah. I appreciate it, and I'll kind of give you. I'll go deeper into the second part to that, but
let me airplay this into my Mac. And
hey, big bedroom. Let's end it there.
There we go. Yeah, I know. Big bedroom, baby.
Okay.
That's where all the magic happens. All right, here we go. Robin. And this is the one that when I first saw her, she was in the few hundreds.
Yep.
And so then I noticed that she went up to, well, at the time, it was 2,000 something. And now she's at 3.
Yep.
And so, dude, this to me was awesome. So tell us about this.
Yeah, so we're trying different things, quotes, video. She has IGTV, which is a whole nother thing I'll talk to you about here shortly. A lot of different pieces of content that we're doing for her, right? And ultimately, we're using my influencer pages to shout out her pages to grow her account. And these are obviously all US-based followers that are highly engaged followers, right? And so the differences of buying a standard 24-hour shout out versus what we do is I shout out until I hit the mark. Does it make sense? So like you can buy shout out. A lot of people would approach you in your DMs and say, hey, spend $200 for a 24-hour shout out, but they can't guarantee you what you're going to get. Like it could be, you can get 100, you can get 1,000. You really don't know what you're going to get. So when we sell our packages, we guarantee a certain amount. So like with Justin, he's on the big boy. He wants to grow, right? So he's going to do 10,000 a month. Robin is on a slower growth. We're doing 1,000 a month. So essentially, that's how we're driving that audience. And keep in mind, if you want local, hyper local, the only way to do that is just buy ads. You know what I mean? Buy Instagram ads, buy whatever. But when you're trying to grow yourself as the authority, you have to understand that you need a wider audience outside of Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
To give you an example, imagine, okay, so you guys have Ryan Serhant, right? Like he's coming up, right? Imagine Ryan, he's like, hey, and we all know him from the show and everything. And he's like, you know what? Hey, I appreciate HGTV for putting me on this show. But here's what I want to do. I want to just do the show in New York, and I only want to show it to a New York audience. We wouldn't know who the fuck he was.
Exactly.
Right? So that's my point is out of my 22 deals, 6 of them came not from San Diego. Okay. You're not going to know who's watching your stuff. And in order to become the digital mayor, celebrity, whatever term you want to use, you need that audience. Right. So that's one piece. The second piece is the big promotions. All right. There are ways to grow your account by tens to hundreds of thousands of followers pretty instantaneously within a 2 to 3 day period. And the way to do that is to get on a celebrity promotion. And so the relationships that I build, my partner and I, like my partner, Chris, he owns contracts for over 24 celebrity accounts. So he's dealing directly with the team. So meaning, so like for instance, we just had a Floyd Mayweather promotion. We worked directly, right? We worked directly with the money team, right? And we had the promotion. So we essentially, all these other little agencies and stuff like that that want to buy in, we sell to them, right? Mm-hmm. And so what you can do is you can buy into the promotion. Floyd does some kind of promotion or contest, and he says, hey, I want you to go follow these 50 people, which are the people who pay for the promotion. And all of a sudden, his 23 million followers get to see this promotion. And now you're driving US-based followers at 100,000 a pop.
Wow.
Okay. Dan Blazarian just had one. Khloe Kardashian just had one. I had a lady that was one of my clients. She buys growth from me from time to time. And she has an online makeup business. Okay. She spent, and again, guys, listen, I don't want to scare you with dollar figures, right? Because you can go as little as probably like $4 or $5 grand all the way to $100,000 it just depends, right? But to drive the point home is it made sense for her to get on Kylie Jenner's promotion. She put 30 grand down to be on that promotion. She got, but here's the thing. So Kylie being in the makeup industry, right? And her having an online makeup business, she got 276,000 followers. And I can't begin to tell you the sales that came out of that.
Was that like in the process of a day, dude, or what? Because that's
3 days.
Insanity.
Okay. So multiple influencers, and it doesn't have to be a celebrity, guys. There's, as I just quoted you that stat about how influencer marketing is big now and doubling, tripling next year, is there are so many people that have over 5 to 10 million followers that this could work for, right? In a lot of niches, bloggers.
That's amazing.
Fitness people. I mean, like, it's incredible, right? And
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and so the relationships that we build allow us to do that.
Well, I think it's key what you're saying is that a lot of these followers that you get, they're not going to be local, and that's okay. They're going to come from other parts of the United States, and in some cases, in other parts of the world.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah.
What happened to us, I'll give you a short little story since we're all talking about stories, Dean.
Yeah, please.
One of my agents back 3 years ago has a really good Instagram page that attracted a few different people from the Middle East. And one of those messaged him on Messenger, said, hey, I love your Instagram page. I love that you're always showing where you're going and the cars you're driving and the houses luxury, right? All Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Right.
And he's like, I'm going to be in the area, and I'm a prince of Qatar. I think it was Qatar. And so we're both like, yeah, that's a bunch of shit. It's not real. So we decided to give it to one of our new agents. We're like, hey, we got this great Instagram lead for you.
I already like the story. Go ahead. Keep going.
They're looking to come here in 3 months from now, but we can't take it because we're busy at that time. So here it is. And they're looking to lease for $50,000 a month first, and then they may purchase. Give it to them. The day comes, they stop by, and we're already doing something else in Beverly Hills. And so we get a call from the agent, and the agent calls us up and says, hey guys, so they really like this home for $40,000 a month, and they have a briefcase full of cash, and I don't know what to do. I was like, damn it. So now this kid is, because he became friends with them, right? They're going to buy. And now
of course.
He got to go party with them, drive on their nice, amazing cars and
boats. He got the whole thing going. I mean, the best. Yeah. I mean, look, that happens a lot, and people don't realize that, I do want to touch on something. I know we're going to wrap up here soon.
Shoot, man.
But I want to give everybody a little insight on their feed and what's coming up. Okay. So we have some really good connections with Instagram directly, and there's some things that are happening with IGTV that everyone needs to know about. Okay. Instagram is going to go kind of heavy on competing with YouTube. And here's what I mean by that is they are going to be testing next year paying IGTV creators just like they pay YouTubers.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, damn, dude. That's serious.
Yeah, let's get real. And so another thing that's about to happen is they're going to test IGTV ads just like they do in YouTube. Ooh. You know that they are interrupting our YouTube feeds unless you pay for the Prime or whatever it is. And there's ads, all kinds of things, right? I'm like in the middle of the video, like, God damn it, like, I gotta wait a minute, you know, but they're gonna test that stuff.
Well, that means those ads are going to be even better than the YouTube ads because these are lead ads, right?
100%. Obviously, they're looking at ways to monetize. Everything happens, right? You know, everybody ends up, you know, monetizing stuff, right? Another thing is, for those of you who create a lot of video, you may notice this, but Instagram is now pushing the notifications for IGTV heavily. And so, you know, if the suggestion would be, number one, start creating a video more than 1 minute, okay? Because you're going to be rewarded over the next 2 years, definitely. Number two, think about when you're doing different things on your feed. So like Robin, for instance, she does a great job every Wednesday, right? We drop her video, her long form video for IGTV, 3 to 4 minutes, right? And it's a series. And one of the things that you need to train your audience is to turn on notifications, just like YouTube, right? That the series is coming for the next episode.
Sick. Dude.
Bam.
I'm like,
where's my mic?
I feel like an 8-year-old boy here. I can't wait to go test all this stuff out, Dean. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I love it. This, man, I get passionate about this stuff, man. I love it.
You know what? That's what I was feeling. I was feeling your energy because I'm like, I'm getting goosebumps here. And I'm like, where the hell am I getting the goosebumps from?
I get passionate for real estate too, but I've been doing it for so long. This stuff's like, I love it.
Dude, all right. So create videos longer than a minute so that the preview comes up on the feed, right? You can click
so when
on
you post it, you have to select it too, guys, by the way. Okay, so let me just be real clear. When you post, select the preview feature because then it will show up on the feed. If you do not select that feature when you're posting the longer form, it'll only go straight into your IGTV and you'll never see it on the feed and no one will ever see it.
That would suck.
That would suck. It's happened.
All right, dude. So I'm already loving this. Can we do a part 2 to this? But let's check this out. Maybe we can even blow it up more. Bring Sharon.
Yes, sir.
You and Sam Karamian.
Oh, let's do it. That'd be awesome. Sam is awesome, man. And I know Sharon's in. I won't speak for him, but
Sharon will be in. And maybe in between, or maybe if Sharon can't make it, we can bring in Tessa Bella. You know Tessa Bella. Right?
I saw her the other day. I have never met her or anything, but I saw her today. She looks like she's knows her stuff. 23-year-old influencer on real estate. She looks like a go-getter, man. I love to meet her.
All right, perfect. So let's do that. Let's make that a part 2. We can do it early January.
Okay.
So we can get started in the right direction. And guys, I love what I'm hearing, and I'm sure you do. So if you're listening to this, please click on the link there that I posted up. Obviously, if you're on the webinar, it's right there. If you're listening to this on a replay on Facebook, we'll put the link on the post already. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, recorded, it's at the very bottom there. You could just click on it. And Dean, anything you want to leave us with? Because I can't get to work on this. I took like a whole bunch of notes.
No, like I said, don't overthink it. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with video, and stuff like that. And honestly, vulnerability is big. It took a lot for me to kind of share that story that I had for me. And I share it a lot. I got a number of health problems and stuff like that. And I share it because these are all learning lessons that I had to, have in life. And I think people need to connect with you. This is an engagement platform and a social platform, not a necessarily look at me platform. And your audience needs to know a little bit about Tristan and his kids and, some trials and tribulations and things like that you're going through, as well as all the other content. So it's okay to be vulnerable, because honestly, if you were in my feed and you were a little vulnerable, I would stay and watch. And
that makes a lot of sense.
And I just want to thank everybody. I hope everybody got some value out of this. Thanks for having me, man.
Well, thanks for finally freaking joining us, man.
We'll catch up for sure, man.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Again, visit Dean Aguilar. There's the link, DeanXAguilar.com, and then /digital/playbook/. Thanks again, Dean. Appreciate it.
All right. See you guys.